Hi Deepthi, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. So these days there has been a lot of buzz lately on AI agents. I mean, like wherever I see, whatever the internet articles I open, it's all about agents everywhere. So what do you think of this, Deepthi? I mean, how is it exactly different from the LLMs that have we have been using till now?
Mhm. Okay, so we'll have to understand the difference between the LLMs and the agents, right? So LLM, you might have already used ChatGPT by now. It's just a
Yeah.
question answer. So whatever question you ask, it gives you a response. That's it. It doesn't know whether it's a right response or not, but it gives you the response.
Okay.
Right? So let's take one example. Let's say you wanted to create a function that would take two numbers as input and multiply those numbers and give you the response. You want to create this function, let's say. This is a very basic example I'm just taking. So now, if at all it's an LLM, you just ask a question. That means give me a function which takes up two parameters and gives the sum of the two numbers, and it
Mm-hmm.
will give you a function, right?
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't know whether it's right or wrong, but it will give you the function, and you are the one who has to put it on your Jupyter notebook, run it, execute it, and see if there are any errors in the code,
Yeah,
right?
sometimes things don't match and errors will come. We'll have to check and modify it.
So if at all you get an error, what do? You just copy paste that error and put it on your chart once again, and it will correct its code and give back the code.
Yeah,
Again,
exactly.
same process repeats again and again. So
Hmm.
here what you need to understand is there are three things that are happening actually. The maker of the code, that is the LLM, checker
Hmm.
of the code, that is the human, because I
Hmm.
was the one who is putting on the Jupyter notebook and checking if there are any errors or the code is working or not. And there
Yeah.
is the actioning part as well. The actioning part is nothing but I am taking the code and putting it on the Jupyter notebook. It itself is not running on my local Jupyter notebook, right?
Yeah, exactly. We'll take the code and it just gives a text output on the web chat interface.
Yes. So there are 3 points. So for LLMs, the maker part is the LLM, checker part and the actioning part is done by the human. When
Hmm.
it comes
Yeah.
to agents, both maker part and checker part is a agent. That's where it behaves intelligent. So when you give a question, I mean, you can define your tools to which your agent can access. So let's say you have given a Python tool to it, okay, where it can execute the Python code.
Oh,
So yeah, you can define those tools. You can define a SQL tool, you can define a Python tool, and then it can execute the code that it has generated and see if there are any errors. In case of any errors, it will get it back and then correct its code and again rerun it on its Python tool.
oh, okay.
Huh.
So, I mean, like we'll give tools to the agent. I mean, like we'll ask for it to use Python or use Java or use
Mm.
SQL. Oh, that's
It,
interesting.
it can even, in case you are giving 4, 5 tools to it, it
Mm-hmm.
itself can decide on which tool to use. That
Oh,
decision making also it can do. Yeah, that's also an LLM. So the maker part is an LLM, and then it uses tool to put that code and see if there are any errors. And then the checker part is also LLM. In case of any errors, it will correct it. So that's a
mhm.
loop. So that's
Okay.
that's
Yeah.
where you see the agent would give you a correct code. It in the LLM, if you see, it just gives you the code. We don't know whether it's right or wrong.
Right or
But here
wrong,
it will give
exactly.
you a executable code, successful executable code. So
Okay.
that's where you feel it's intelligent. So here
But
in agents,
we still have to run it in our notebook.
yes. So still the actioning part is in our hands. So human
Okay.
has to go put your code on your Jupyter notebook and run it. That is
Mhm.
still there. So the making the agent, maker and checker both are LLMs, but
Mhm.
the actioning part has to be taken by the human. So
Okay.
now there is a new agent called CUA, CUA, computer using agents.
Oh,
So
I
here
heard that like they are calling it as operators, right? Is it
yes,
that?
yes, operators, yes. So this computer using agents uses our computer and then does actions on our computer as we do it. So even the actioning part is done by the computer now. I mean, by the agent. So here, if you see, there are two things. For operator, one is the environment. You need to define your environment, and the other one is the agent. So agent will tell you what actions it has to take, like whether it has to copy or paste, or it has to click on somewhere, it has to scroll or drag, select. All these things are the actions that Kua would tell us, and
Okay.
environment, and we have to give it an environment. Environment can be your browser, or some your own OS system itself, or some browser, or some like drivers, virtual desktops. So all this can be your environment, and Kua would execute the various actions on your environment. And then in this way, if you just open your Jupyter notebook and ask it to create a function on your Jupyter notebook itself, it would do it directly. You don't have to do the actioning part as well here. In case of any error, it itself will correct the code and rerun it again.
Wow, this seems fascinating and scary as well.
Yeah, if you look at it, like I have executed for one of the use case, where I was giving the Jupyter notebook as its environment and asking it to create a time series model,
Oh,
and it's able to do it entire time series model. I didn't even talk, I mean, I haven't put anything in the prompt regarding the data. I have just given the path of the data. That's it. Data reset still on my system only. I'm not sending the data to it. I'm just giving the path of my data set, and then it's able to read the file and then see the top 5 records and understand the data, build the time series model finally. And with it was coming with a good accuracy only. But anyway, that fine tuning is required. But it was able to build end-to-end model with
wow,
analysis, evaluation as well.
wow. I don't know how
That's
things will be
Kua, but
in a
it's not very accurate. I mean, accuracy wise, what OpenAI has released this Kua computer use
Mhm,
preview model. So
mhm.
when it comes to accuracy, so on OS, it is bit lesser accuracy, like around 60%. But on browsers, it has a good accuracy, like around 70%. So these
By
are like preview models.
browsers, by
Browser, I mean by
browsers.
Selenium browser, virtual browsers we can create, right? Like using Selenium or Playwright. So on the
Mhm.
browsers, it is better. It has a better accuracy. But there are still limitations to this. It's just a preview model, so you cannot expect a great accuracy. But yeah, it does a good job on Jupyter Notebook. That much I'm sure. This will be improved for sure. Like in next 1 year, this model will get a very good model out of
I don't know what people will be learning in a year. But
this.
I
This
mean,
was
like
scary.
now, if you look at it, so we being civil engineers, we learned a lot of methods which were from 20 years back.
Hmm.
But now in
Yeah.
agents, I mean, like a couple of years back, data analysis in itself was a huge thing. But now,
Uh,
if you're talking about
now,
those operators, which
yeah. Now there is an analysis agent as well. We don't need analysts anymore.
yeah,
There are
exactly.
analysis agents. Now everything is agents. You just need one head person and then rest all are agents. That's it. Only one person, one human, and rest all are agents. That's it. That's the future.
Yeah, I mean, like then humans have to survive, right? What do you think
See,
they should
uh,
learn
uh,
to
yeah,
survive?
you have to see the major advantage. Like as a human, we have to be creative. Okay,
Yeah.
agent by itself cannot be creative. We are feeding in the creativity, and then somehow it's able to do it because of the huge amount of data that we are feeding in. But
Hmm.
end of the day, the new discoveries or inventions can be done by the human only, right?
Yeah,
So you have to keep your creativity on every time. You cannot switch
exactly.
off and shut down. You can't do an autonomous job and later on an agent will replace you. So you have to be always in a race that you have to be creative, try to make new things, new designs. You have to be in a position to build agents. Then you will never be replaced.
Exactly.